everyone. You're watching Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Duckford government says it will not be paving waterfront of Ontario Place. Murders in Mississauga, Caledon linked to residential shootings in Brampton Police. Toronto to sea blast winter weather on Friday. Measles vaccination rates in GTA children are lower than the rest of Ontario. Why? Ontario and Ottawa come to agreement over Highway 413 environmental assessment. One person taken to hospital after assault at Whitby High School. One man dead after double shooting at Mississauga Plaza.
These were the headlines, and let's jump right into the details.
An assault at a high school in Whitby sent one person to the hospital Thursday afternoon, Durham Regional Police say. Officers were called to Father Leo J. Austin Catholic Secondary School at Dryden Boulevard and Anderson Street shortly before 12:30 p.m. Police confirmed that a male was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries and that they do not have information about the weapon used. They did not say if the victim was a student of the school. No one is in custody at this time. However, this appears to be an isolated incident and there is no public safety concerns, a Durham police spokesperson said in an email. Meanwhile, the Durham Catholic District School Board DCDSB said in a statement that it received reports of a student altercation and occurred outside on school property and police were called immediately. Police have said there is no ongoing threat to the public safety and classes are continuing as per the regular school day, the school board said. DCDSB added that staff are available to support students who require it. Police say two separate homicide investigations in Mississauga and Caledon and a string of residential shootings in Brampton last November are now believed to be connected, and investigators are appealing to the public for help identifying the perpetrators. Officers with both Peel Regional Police and Ontario Provincial Police provided an update on the joint investigation dubbed Project Midnight at a news conference on Thursday afternoon. Police said investigative information and forensic evidence have confirmed that 5 shootings in Peel region, including 2 that result in the deaths of 3 people, are linked. Although the police believe that all the shootings were targeted, the victims in the homicides were not the intended targets, Peel police said Thursday. According to police, 3 of the 5 shooting incidents occurred in Brampton over a 1-week period prior to the homicides. On November 7th, officers were called to the area of Cottrell Boulevard and Thorndale Road after police said 2 suspects discharged firearms outside of residence and fled in a black Dodge Ram 1500 pickup truck. Another shooting was reported on November 11th at a home near Laurenville Drive and Elburn Markle Drive. Police said in that incident the 2 suspects fled in burgundy Dodge Ram 1500 pickup truck. That same residence, police said, was targeted a second time on November 14 when a suspect fired shots at the home and fled in a late model silver Mazda 3 hatchback. No injuries were reported at any of the 3 shootings, police say. The following day, Peel police were called to Royal Windsor Drive and Winston Churchill Boulevard in Mississauga for a fatal shooting at a business in the area. According to police, two unknown suspects approached a business and shot and killed an individual who was working there at that time. The victim was later identified as 29-year-old Brampton resident Jagraj Singh. The suspects arrived and fled in the blue Dodge Challenger, police said. On November 20th, a shooting at a home on Mayfield Road in Caledon left 2 people dead and a third person with life-altering injuries, police said. All 3 victims sustained multiple gunshot wounds during the attack, investigators added. The man and woman killed in the shooting were previously identified as 57-year-olds Jackar Sidhu and Harbhajan Sidhu. Police said multiple suspects were involved in the Caledon shooting and one was last seen on Mayfield Road entering a black pickup truck that was believed to have been stolen from Mississauga 6 days earlier. Police said they are also looking to speak to one individual who was in the area of Mississauga Valley Boulevard and Rista Way at the time the pickup truck was stolen on November 14. At Thursday's news conference, investigators also confirmed that Peel police spoke to the 2 victims of Caledon homicide at their home days before their deaths. Police did not disclose the details of the conversation with the victims at that time, but then pressed for more information. Costanz said it was in relation to the homicide that occurred the day before. Police have now released photos of suspects that are believed to be involved in the shootings, and investigators are asking anyone with the information about the incidents to contact the dedicated tip line at 1833 941 5570. Are children in the Toronto area more at risk of catching measles than the rest of Ontario? It's a question that could be answered, at least in part, by a report released by Public Health Ontario (PHO) that shows mostly declining vaccination rates against the highly contagious disease among kids, especially in the Greater Toronto area. The report is from July but helps to add context to Ontario's current measles situation. As of March 13, 8 cases have been confirmed in 2024 so far, one more than the 7 reported throughout all of 2023, and 4 of those cases were in unvaccinated children. Half of those cases were reported in the GTA and Hamilton, and all but 2 involved recent travel. Since March 13, at least 1 additional case has been confirmed in Toronto, with the city's public health agency warning of potential exposure at a mom and babies program downtown. Immunization data for all 34 of the province's public health units is included in the report and shows coverage rates for 7 and 17-year-olds between the school years of 2019 and 2022, while the older cohort has consistent immunization rates above or near 90% across the board, and over the years, vaccine coverage has slipped for the younger group since 2019, specifically in public health units located in the GTA. In fact, every city in the GTA has seen a dramatic drop of the measles vaccination rate since 2019, led by York Region at 31.9%. COVID-19 is at least partially to blame for the reduced immunization coverage, according to the PHO, which says it caused significant disruptions to the delivery of routine vaccines. The report notes that because primary care offices were limited to virtual visits at the height of pandemic, the deferral of non-essential medical treatments like immunizations followed. Beyond that, Kulik said some patients in Ontario have had trouble assessing their family doctor in recent years, due in part to a province-wide staffing shortage. More than 500,000 people in Toronto don't have a family doctor, according to recent numbers released by the Ontario Medical Association. As well, vaccine hesitancy in the wake of the global COVID-19 vaccine rollout continues to be a factor. By and large, measles is pretty benign illness for most people. However, if you have enough people that get it, just like COVID, just like flu, just like other illnesses, there are risks, and some kids do get very, very sick, and some kids can die from measles, she said. I think when a new vaccine comes out, like the COVID vaccine, it brings up a lot of questions around how vaccines are made and how they are tested, a short-term and long-term side effects, Kulik said. PHO has acknowledged that there is an increase in measles activity globally, and last week, Health Minister Sylvia Jones said the province has boosted its stockpile of vaccines. Last year, the World Health Organization called the increase in global measles outbreaks and deaths staggering, but also not unexpected due to declining vaccination rates over the years. Health officials have been urging members of the public to check their immunization records to make sure they are up to date on their measles vaccines, especially before traveling. If you are unsure, Kulik recommends booking an appointment with your doctor to review what vaccines you or your children may be missing. I think it's definitely a priority to make sure that kids are seeing their primary care provider or family doctor or pediatrician to review what vaccines may be required, what vaccines their kids are missing, and catch them up, because we know we need a couple of weeks before vaccine to really reach good immunity. If you contract measles, Toronto Public Health has provided the following guidance, which includes seek medical care if symptoms arise, particularly after travel exposure to a measles-infected person. Call ahead to clinics for precautionary measures and testing. Do not attend work or school. Remain watchful for symptoms even if vaccinated against measles. Follow medical advice promptly for proper care and containment. It may be spring, but it appears winter is not done with Toronto just yet. Heavy snowfall is expected in the city on Friday afternoon and will continue overnight. Environment Canada is calling for between 5 to 10 centimeters of snowfall between Friday afternoon and Saturday morning. Thursday saw a cold start to the day with temperature feeling like -17 this morning, but the daytime high is expected to rise a high of 1 Celsius. It's a bitter morning out there, CP24 meteorologist Bill Coulter said. You will want to keep the thicker jackets, hats, and gloves close at hand for the rest of the work week. Northwest wind gusts up to 50 kilometers per hour are expected today, Coulter said, and the low will take aim at southern Ontario on Friday. Flurries at midday, then significant accumulating snowfalls from the afternoon hours to early overnight, he added. A slight warm-up is expected on Saturday, so expect lots of melting and puddle jumping. Seasonably mild weather will eventually force its way back into the region by the middle of the next week. Environment Canada is forecasting a daytime highs of 5 Celsius and 6 Celsius on Tuesday and Wednesday, respectively. The Justin Trudeau government has come to an agreement with Ontario to remove a significant roadblock in the building of Doug Ford's flagship, Highway 413. A joint consent order, which still needs to be approved by the courts, would cancel an environmental impact study on the proposed highway. In May 2021, the federal government determined Highway 413 warranted designation under the Impact Assessment Act, a piece of legislation that gives them the authority to evaluate how climate change may be impacted by the project. The government has actively been fighting this process and in October 2023 went to the courts in an effort to prevent the federal government from using the Impact Assessment Act for both the Highway 413 and Ontario Place. This followed a Supreme Court opinion found that the act was unconstitutional as it encroaches into provincial responsibility. In a statement, advocacy group and intervener in the case Environmental Defense said the agreement was a gross abandonment of federal responsibility to protect wildlife and people across Ontario. The 6-lane, 52-kilometer highway has been a major campaign promise of Premier Doug Ford since he was first elected in 2018. The proposed route would travel from Halton to York Region, connecting highways 401, 47, and 410. The province expects the project to save commuters about 30 minutes in driving time when complete, reducing gridlock across the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area. A report published in October 2022 by Environmental Defense identified at least 29 federally identified species at risk that will be impacted by the highway. The report also says the proposed highway would cross about 132 streams and rivers and result in the loss of about 400 acres of significant natural areas and or greenbelt land. Local farmers who may lose land or be impacted by the highway have also criticized the plan, arguing their businesses may shutter and the environmental consequences could be dire. One man is dead and another is in hospital following a double shooting overnight at a commercial plaza in Mississauga. Peel Regional Police said they were called to the address in the area of Dixie Road and Queensway East around 2:43 a.m. At least one of the victims was found outside, police said. One man was subsequently pronounced dead while another was transported to a trauma center but is expected to survive, Peel Regional Paramedic Services said. He said it's too early to tell whether the shooting is connected to any of the businesses. There are a number of local businesses in the area that will be included as the investigators canvass as they look around for both surveillance footage as well as persons that might have been in the area at the time that this occurred, Constable Nikhil Chakravarti told reporters at the scene. Yellow police tape cordoned off a large area where the shooting occurred Thursday and police vehicles remained at the scene. The victims were found a short distance apart from each other, which is a contributing factor as to why the scene is as large as it is. But it's going to be a part of the investigation to determine why they were not located in the same spot, Chakravarti said. He couldn't immediately comment on whether the two victims knew each other, but he said investigators believe the two were shot by a suspect or suspects who fled the scene. Chakravarti said he couldn't comment on whether another shooting in the same area in July could be connected to the latest shooting. There is no suspect information available so far, Peel police said. Chakrabarti said police are asking anyone with the information to come forward. Police are describing the shooting as an isolated incident and said they do not believe there is further danger to the public. An assault at a high school in Whitby sent one person to the hospital Thursday afternoon, Durham Regional Police say. Officers were called to Father Leo J. Austin Catholic Secondary School at Dryden Boulevard and Anderson Street shortly before 12:30 p.m. Police confirmed that a male was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries and that they do not have information about the weapon used. They did not say if the victim was a student of the school. No one is in custody at this time. However, this appears to be an isolated incident and there is no public safety concerns, a Durham police spokesperson said in an email. Meanwhile, the Durham Catholic District School Board DCDSB said in a statement that it received reports of a student altercation and occurred outside on school property and police were called immediately. Police have said there is no ongoing threat to the public safety and classes are continuing as per the regular school day, the school board said. DCDSB added that staff are available to support students who require it.
That's it for now. I'm Kubrali signing off. See you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.